Hi, I'm meteorologist Tony Petrarca in the Pinpoint 12 Forecast Center. You clicked on the Weather Now link on this late Thursday afternoon, early evening, sort of the calm before the storm. Still in a weather alert. Bottom line, high impact rain and windstorm is on the way. The height of it is actually later tonight, roughly midnight and beyond into Friday. And rain will be arriving shortly. I don't really see too many problems for the early evening commute as far as strong wind, at least not yet, though it will be raining early this evening. So here's what to expect. The rain actually starting shortly, but the heavier rain is overnight into Friday. It's generally 2 to 3 inches of rain. That in itself may produce some localized street flooding, but we're more concerned about the wind gust potential, anywhere from 50 to 60 miles per hour up to 65 miles per hour along the South Shore, where the strongest winds will be. Likely to see at least scattered power outages overnight into Friday morning. There's a coastal flood warning as well. The time of high tide early Friday morning. Astronomical high tide combined with a strong onshore wind, minor to moderate coastal flooding early on Friday morning. And then once the storm pulls away Friday night, bitterly cold air sets up for the Christmas weekend. So with the strong wind gusts late tonight into Friday, yeah, that potential is there for power outages. I would say there's at least a moderate risk of scattered outages. Again, these wind gusts are somewhere between 50 and 65, first out of the south and then turning west-southwest Friday evening, Friday night into Saturday, really for all areas, though some of the higher end wind gusts would be realized more confined to the South Shore. I know the Block Island ferry has been canceled. This is where we have the high wind warning. The areas in red, all of southeastern New England, gusts within this red area between 50 and 65 miles per hour for late tonight, really through all of Friday night, and it's at least daybreak on Saturday, even though Saturday is mainly dry. It's frigid too. So just rough surf, big waves, beach erosion, dangerous surf and big waves during the time of high tide coming up on Friday morning. So the areas in red, which actually includes the communities up Narragansett Bay, it is a flood warning for that early morning high tide between roughly 7 and 9 o'clock in the morning on Friday. Strong, just kind of onshore wind pushing an already high tide. So some of these low-lying roads along the South Shore and some parking lots and things like that, there'd be some splash over and some flooding due to that. So when we look at the impacts, I mean, no surprise here. The high impacts, of heavy rain and strong wind, I would say it's at least a moderate risk of scattered power outages. I would charge your devices and things like that. And two kinds of flooding, localized street flooding, and then the coastal flood risk along the South Shore early Friday morning. So the leading edge of the precipitation starting to work in right now, but the heavier rain and wind would be overnight and into Friday. Here's the wider view, and here's the setup. Main storm center is spinning across the Great Lakes, a secondary one with a lot of moisture coming up the mid-Atlantic coastline. This will all merge into one significant storm that kind of really intensifies across the upper Great Lakes next couple of days. These storms love to feed on contrasting air masses. And you look at this and you see the frigid air coming out of the northern plains and the mild air up and down the East Coast. And when you get this kind of what we call gradient between very cold and very mild, storms really whip up, especially wind. Initially, we're on the mild side of it. That's why it's mainly rain. But on the backside, as the storm pulls away, all this cold air rushes in Friday evening, Friday night into the weekend. There's going to be a huge temperature drop by late day Friday and Friday night. So let's set the stage here. And I have the wind arrows turned on to show you where the wind is coming from. But here we are on midnight. It's a windswept rain. And here we are Wednesday, Friday morning, windswept, heavy rain, very mild temperatures. This is with that red line, the warm front. And then the cold front, that blue line, this is approaching on Friday afternoon around 2 o'clock with another round of heavy rain and wind. Now, note the arrows behind the cold front that are out of the west and northwest, and note the arrows out ahead of it, strong southerly winds. Once this cold front goes through, boy, the temperature just tumbles big time to the point where we actually change over to perhaps some scattered snow showers Friday night. And it looks like, well, this is Friday night, 11 o'clock. Late Friday night and even into Saturday, while most of us is dry, right along the South Shore, we get what's called ocean effect snow showers. And there could actually be, even though Friday night and Saturday is a dry day, from westerly, Groton, New London, Charlestown, Narragansett, Newport, Little Compton, New Bedford, could be a small coating to an inch of snow. And again, that is confined to the immediate South Shore only. Boy, this cold front means business. Look at the temperature at 7 o'clock Friday morning, upper 50s to low 60s. There's the front off to our Oops, let's try that again. Off to our west. Look at the temperatures behind it. And this is all going to rush in late day Friday, so you get this huge temperature drop. This is 3 o'clock in the afternoon. It's mild, and then this cold air rushes in by 11 o'clock Friday night. That's down to 19. So we go from 60 Friday morning to 19 on Friday night. You throw in the wind chills are near zero. Rainfall now through Friday, 2.5 isolated 3-inch amounts of rain coming up. So we get a more detailed look, excuse me, at the forecast this evening. This is 7 o'clock. Rain, not too much wind. Heavier rain and wind. This is midnight. Torrential rain and wind. This is 6 o'clock in the morning. There'll be some scattered wind damage at this time, very mild. 9 in the morning, still some heavy rain at times, strong winds, very mild temperatures. Then this is the cold front at around 2 o'clock coming through with heavy rain and strong wind. Now, the temperature at 2 o'clock is 55. Look how fast this temperature drops by early evening with partial clearing in the mid-30s. And then later Friday night, windy, frigid. You've got these ocean effect snow showers confined, excuse me, to the South Shore. That's my allergies still. All right, tonight, rain, and then the wind really starts to pick up in the rain 11 o'clock, midnight, and beyond. Look at the temperature this evening. It's actually going up rather than falling. Windswept rain, scattered wind damage. This is Friday morning, upper 50s to around 60. Friday afternoon, a mild start. Heavy rain, strong wind. Look at by 6 o'clock in the evening. It's down to 30 with some scattered snow showers. And then frigid weather, very cold, Christmas Eve and Christmas Day. You want to stay tuned to further forecasts, even on our website at WPRI.com.